Thank you so much for coming. So I don't know how you've been feeling for the last 2 years. Beginning of 2020, I can tell you that since then I've been pretty moody. For the purposes of this workshop, I'm not all that worried about what kind of words we use. It's whatever word makes sense to you. Cities are also trying to measure our moods. I mean, cities care a lot about our moods, and I wanted to do this project to push a little at what it means for a city to think about its citizens at a time of crisis. And how do we convey these kind of sensory or textural or visceral aspects of experience to this big entity called the city? And of course, I think cities do care. How do they get the information? How does it get translated? How does something like a mood get translated into something that's more like a metric? If we think about mood boarding as a collaborative activity, then how might mood boarding deepen our understanding of how people feel during times of crisis or change? If I think about mood boarding as a qualitative method, how might mood boards produce visual and textural layered accounts of lived experience? If we think about mood boarding as a data generating tool, say for example for cities, could it help cities gather more sensory and affective information? Think about mood boarding as an act of data activism. There's no one right way or wrong way to do this, nor is it meant to be an activity that yields a product that is a comprehensible one to anyone else. And thinking about mood and the question, what did it feel like getting here today?
We started talking about, oh yeah, we looked at the same things, but we all have our own personal histories in between the Melbourne brick walls. There are all these little stories that we bring in.
There was that tension between built environment and what that means for those in-between spaces. Like, I'm a local, but the rest of my team is not a local. So again, feeling that what is place in these in-between spaces and what it means to kind of be in a place and inhabit a place.
When I moved to Brunswick, I saw gentrification. During the lockdown, I used to walk around this station. It was completely different. And now that the station has been renovated, we see all these hip, cool places, Place Lab included. Part of this map is like a map of gentrification as a process.
I think there's something kind of interesting in this idea of the in-between, like what exists when something is shifting and changing. There's these questions of what is community when the community and the place is in shift, and how does things shift along or not shift with it?
What about what is not on Google Maps? What's not saved, like on a digital archive? Would it be lost?
Part of the effervescence of it is indicative of the human condition. So what do you make of it if you are a part of the city government? What do you do with this kind of information? Because it has heavy information value. It's extraordinarily rich. It is meaningful as information that gives us a knowledge about the city, but very difficult to transform into something that we might call data in this day and age. Trying to enrich the forms of data that count in cities and asking whose data gets to count, whose memories are preserved and which ones are not valued and discarded as irrelevant. Thank you for bringing your energy and your creativity and your imagination. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.